Hi, welcome back to part 2 of the Jay Cartwright challenge. We're 19 league games into the season now. We're into the middle of November, and we're currently sat top of the league. Phil's mastermind formation has worked really well for us. As you can see on the screen, this is what we're looking at formation-wise now. Phil, can you talk us through what you've done, mate?
Yeah, I mean, one of the key things was, as I say, I wanted to exploit the win. I think there were some weaknesses in the squad at the start, which we've tried to fill in. So there's 2 new central midfielders, the new French line on the wing, Pavuli, has proven very, very good. He's chipped in with a lot of goals, to be honest.
So his stats don't look particularly good, but I've noticed from when you've been playing games, he seems to make that late back post run quite a lot and get a lot of goals at the back post.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things is basically the switch seems to work really well for them. I mean, with this system, energy is a big thing, so you need a little bit of pace, and that's one of the stats that he has got quite good for the confidence knackle. Generally, the squad itself, Burridge in midfield is the legs in the midfield who does all the donkey work, if you like. I mean, it's a very workman-like system, so having good work rate, having good energy, good stamina is proven very, very effective for them. I mean, one of the key things as well we've done is, although we've signed several players this season, keeping a key aspect of the old squad together has helped with the cohesion. So we've not completely overhauled it, so in the starting lineup there's probably 6 or 7 of the original players still there, which I think has helped, because if you try and overdo it sometimes, it takes 6 months to get it to gel right sometimes, and then in this challenge that's not really time effective really. Because you have only got 1 season to potentially spare.
Yeah, I think we found that a lot in the testing, didn't we? That try and build a complete squad from scratch, it takes them too long to get up to speed, and then you're massively behind the 8 ball because you're sort of 15-20 points off top of the league or the playoffs. So yeah, really important to try and keep a little bit of that chemistry from the start of the season and not completely overhaul your squad. Look for those weak areas, find the bits that need improving, go after those initially, and then just tweak as the season goes on. Obviously, coming up to January now, Phil's doing a bit of research on the players that are going to be available in the transfer window potentially, and players that are going to be available at the end of the season, as we start to look towards next season and try and strengthen for next season.
I think because we're going to try and do the challenge, and essentially you're going to try and go up 4 leagues. Is that right? 4 leagues? Yeah.
Step 5, step 1. Yeah.
Yeah, as I say, in sort of four seasons, as quick as possible. You need disposable players. So some players you'll probably use for 1 season, and you're already looking to replace them. So it's upgrading your squad periodically, basically, to fit with the league you're going to be in. So I'm already now looking at League 2 standard players, well, League 1 standard players for League 2, to just assuming that we are going to go up. I mean, again, we may have to revert back to type and actually just tweak the squad that we've got at the moment for another promotion push next season. But again, the idea is always be 1 season, almost look a league above what you're actually looking to go to, and try and stay ahead of the game, really.
One of the things that we wanted to try and do early on was trying to develop our own youth players, but this system's very difficult to do so because you need players who not necessarily have big potential but are currently close to their potential and performing as they will at their maximum. And as you can see from our squad list there, quite a few of our top players, 4 stars at the minute. We're not really looking for players who are potential 5 stars in the future, unless we feel that they're quite close to that already, just because we haven't got the time to develop those players by giving them game time, because we need all the points we can, which is quite realistic, to be fair, because you notice a lot of that in the conference. Young players aren't given that much opportunity because it's such a results-driven business, and it does add a bit of pressure, and it's quite nice to sort of feel the pressure ourselves a little bit as we're going.
Yeah. That being said, I mean, we are trying to sign young players because I think it will help further down the line in regards that they'll have resale value. I think having some players there, especially when you're a low-income club, any way of actually generating money is going to be key, really. I mean, we've got to the FA Cup second round, I believe, now as well. Got a decent home draw with Sutton at home we've got, so it's another Conference national side, so get to the third round is going to generate extra money. And it's just keeping everything ticking over really, and just generating the money for when you actually need the funds to actually have to buy players, because in the lower two leagues, free transfers can get you by them sometimes.
Yeah, and as you can see there from our results, we're 15 games unbeaten now. Had a little bit of a blip against two teams who were going to be sort of there or thereabouts in Leighton Orient and Wrexham, which you'd probably expect. A few draws as well. There, Macclesfield, Maidstone, a couple of draws back to back. But apart from that, we've had quite a few consecutive wins. And like we said earlier, with the types of goals that are being scored, if I take you back to the Halifax game, and we go into have a look at the goals in the Halifax game, you'll see that switch ball and the ball being switched from side to side being really effective.
It's a key. One of the tactics we have used is to actually exploit the width, and the whole idea is that having wing backs and wingers is he's going to generate you a lot of width and stretch the play. And players that aren't that fit, because we've noticed that our fitness levels are staying higher than some of the other teams, because we're retaining the ball better. When you make the pitch a lot wider, it tires out the opposition quite a bit.
Okay, this is our first goal. So as you can see, ball switched out to the left, crossed in, back post, Gregor Cox, who's been fantastic for us. Again, playing above his rating for us, arriving at the back post. It seems those wide wing players seem to make those runs towards the back post. Second goal was just a complete error there, and Edwards has pounced on it, which we don't mind the odd freebie.
No, he has scored quite a lot of goals though. I mean, he's scored a couple of hat tricks, to be honest. He does tend to score in bursts. Again, he's a player who's already there. We've tried to utilise him. He's on loan from Hull, I believe. Again, he's got a bit of pace about him, so it works with this system really well, because it's all about energy and pace really, to create the space in there on the pitch really to exploit, and that's what we tend to do with a good width as well, because it's just creating a lot of space down the side of the full-backs. The team seems to be struggling with it.
And again, it's another good example of how the width plays into this formation. Ferdinand switching the ball out wide to Gregor Cox this time to the back post, and Crowley must have scored 6 or 7 goals like that.
Yeah, he's got about 11 total, but the vast majority of them are just him arriving at the back post. He's probably combined goal scoring distance is probably about 10 yards, because as I say, a lot of them are just tapping into the back post.
He's the Dave Nugent of the conference. So if we have a quick look at the stats in terms of selection info, we'll do it that way. You can see goals. So they are 10 for Crowley, 12 for Edwards,
7 for Gregor Cox,
chipping in with 8 assists as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's three front three basically are getting a lot of the goals. I mean, that's what they're there for. They're the ones that are really given the freedom to attack. A couple of the midfielders do chip in from range, but a lot of it is a case of just create the space for the more attacking players and allow them to exploit it.
Average rating as well, mate. Big on that. Ryan Burge, one of our signings, and Tom Burridge, to be fair, both another signing.
Yeah, well, the top three there are 3 players we've signed. I mean, Axel Pahuli probably doesn't do as much as some of the others, because he is the goal scorer. But the 2 key ones, the 2 key players that are actually in this formation, are the 2 central midfielders. They're the ones at the highest rating as well. It's all about work rate. They're involved in the game a lot. They're the ones who spread the ball a lot. They retain the possession. They win the knockdowns in midfield. They are key to this system and actually making it work.
Yeah, and I think just the conference is a league, and that's the thing. One of the reasons why we love Football Manager the way we do is just because it's so realistic at times. The conference is a league where if you've got 11 athletes, you've got a chance of winning a game. Being able to get around the pitch and mobility is just so important, even more so than actual technical ability as you find at that level.
I mean, with the players that Woking start off with as well, I mean, Kane Ferdinand's not too bad, he's very defensive minded. Tom Burridge is a key player in the system. As I say, we've had games where, sort of trial versions of this, where we've not been able to sign him because he's gone to other clubs, and it's not worked out anywhere near as well, because his mobility in that midfield is key in this division, because as I say, he's just so mobile compared to a lot of the other midfielders, because in this league a lot of them are older, sort of aging players, or sort of less fit, less sort of physically adaptable players, and he just tends to be able to run around them, to be honest, and that makes a big difference to the system.
Okay, so we're just going to play our 20th league game live now. We'll go into extended highlights mode.
Here's where there's nothing that we've actually said, but
that's it. This is where we get pumped 4-0 and the run comes to an end. Now, I fancy our chances here, mate. I think we're in a good bit of form. Maidenhead's team we worked for as well, mate. We helped beat Stevenage in the FA Cup with Maidenhead.
Hopefully that doesn't work in their favour this time.
Yeah, hopefully they don't want to watch us. It's just that ball retention was to midfield too. It just helps create chances.
And there you are.
There they are. Patient.
Wide player getting into the sort of the back post position again. They're almost, even though they are wingers, because of the fullbacks, they tend to act as like a third striker, 2 and 3 strikers basically.
It's good effort. As well, we found set pieces weren't particularly working for us, so we've just defaulted them back to normal now, and we seem to have a bit more joy from them than we were. So again, don't be scared to tinker with things if you're playing your game. And if you believe something works, just because it works for somebody else doesn't mean it'll work for your set of players, which is something we've found because we've tried this formation a couple of times, and unless we've got the right players, it hasn't worked very well for us. So it's important to make sure you've got the players to fit your system.
There's a lot of things with Football Manager. I mean, I've seen a lot of people who put individual tactics for each individual player, go into so much detail, and with certain players it doesn't work. It's just, at the end of the day, unless you've got the right players to fit the system you want to play, it's not going to work. It's no good having 2 strikers if they're both target men for me, because I think you need a bit of mobility. It's easy to mark, so you have to adapt to whatever you can get available. I mean, there's players that we've gone for that we've not been able to get who would have maybe tweaked this system a little bit more as well, but it seems to be working with what we have got.
A little bit of pressure in it with a couple of corners, but I think we've seen them off. Just looking at the possession, I think we're bossing the possession into 60%. I just need to double check that. Lovely little pockets of space in behind the fullback every time. And there we are again. Really, really effective. And again, I'm glad we scored a goal like that, because that's exactly what we've been saying happens. So that's probably again popping up at the far post. Again, those wide players just popping up in dangerous areas of the back post. You
can overcomplicate football, but as I say, you don't have to play sort of Pep Guardiola ticky-tacky football every game. I mean, with the players that we've got, it's not really possible. So, I mean, mixed passing is another thing that's quite good, because if you play short passing all the time with some of these weaker players, one, they're not good enough to always retain the ball every time, and being able to play a long ball, sometimes let them get out of trouble and stop them overcomplicating it and playing themselves into trouble.
Yeah. Well, we know the conference is a percentage league. It's a league where you need to play percentage football and force the other team to make errors. So the less things that you do that can cause errors, like overplaying, the better. Or does that come back off the post? Or it'll come back off the post? Yeah, so just keeping it simple sometimes it helps players, and you're turning the opposition around and you're forcing them to make mistakes. But yeah, definitely finding a lot of strength in behind the fullbacks. And again, there with a good cross.
And you'll tend to find that fullbacks are some of the weaker defenders. They're more exposed because they will try and attack. So that's one place where you'll tend to find spaces, sort of that little final third just either side of the box. And it's just a case of getting people in and around the box to actually be able to capitalise on that space.
We've all been there on Sunday morning, mate, where you just put the guy who's hungover doesn't really want to be there at fullback, try and hide in there. And obviously the conference is a little bit more professional than that, but it's still the same sort of theories there that fullbacks tend not to be great.
Well, it was Gary Neville who was saying, joking with Carragher, saying that fullbacks were failed centre halves, and no one ever grew up wanting to be a Gary Neville. And say in this level, you can normally see that.
I don't know, mate. I think everyone wants to grow up to be our wing backs, mate. Where they're playing at the minute, they're pretty tidy on the ball. Ramsey again setting it up. There's midfield 2 again, just sort of boxing it in there. Although that's a bad time to lose possession. Again, like we said about just giving away the ball there, causing you problems.
Mistakes at this level you're not going to have tend to find that ball retention is a lot lower than what it would be in the Premier League with the world-class players.
how we're looking. We're still got a lot of possession, having more shots. Still feel we're reasonably comfortable here. Kind of brought that one on ourselves a little bit. Some good ratings in there, playing reasonably well. Their front two are playing well.
Although we don't seem to keep that many clean sheets, we don't receive hundreds of goals, to be honest. So again, I think a lot of the goals you can put down to sort of individual errors at times, because we do see when we concede quite a few times that someone's rating has dropped quite a bit, so it's normally an individual error when that happens.
Yeah, you can see there, Ryan McGivern's 6.3 at the minute.
Yeah.
Ratings just dropped off a cliff. He's obviously at fault there. Are we happy, mate, or do we want to have a quick look at anything in particular?
Don't think there's too much to change at the moment in regards. They seem to be pretty in control, apart from, as I say, the one little mistake.
I like our shape there. Our shape looks good. No one seems to be struggling. Everyone seems to be just lost a lot of possession in the central areas, which I guess is the nature of the beast when you're trying to keep the ball in that middle section to try and find those wide switches out.
Well, you will find the central midfielders as well playing probably sort of spreading longer passes, so they will lose it a little bit more. But the good thing with having the energy, they tend to pick up the loose ball quite a lot, which is near help with our possession retention really.
The one thing I found as well is like we haven't set any specifics about underlaps or overlaps, but we do seem to be getting a lot of ball out wide to our fullbacks as well. Our fullbacks seem to be putting a lot of crosses in. It's just naturally the way the system's set up. It's here we are again. We've got Ralph out wide in position to be able to get a crossing potentially.
By having the wing backs as attacking, they almost act as second wingers when you have got the ball. Again, it's quite key that people have energy to be able to fill in for them. So the two midfielders tend to be able to cover as you saw there a minute ago, the space that's left by the fullbacks. And the third centre half actually it spreads them across the pitch as well to be able to cover that area as well.
There we are, left wing back pushing forward from the edge. Oh. To be fair, goal of the month last month was Ryan Bird from the edge of the box.
Yes.
Absolute rocket. I think he's a bit of a cocky lad because we basically said to him, like, well done winning goal of the month, and he's a bit like, wasn't a great goal, I scored better than that. Winter as well, centre half. He's popped up with quite a few goals.
Yeah, I think that's about his fifth now, I think. And they say most of them have been set pieces, but he does seem to like to get in there. I mean, he's a defender who can play midfield as well. He was already at the club, and he's one of the players that you can tell with his stats that he's at his level, but he seems to perform very, very well, and his ratings are very good.
Yeah, first touch, passing, pace, stamina, the fitting of the level, quite composed to the level as well, 11. So yeah, so you have to just kind of take it with a pinch of salt with the ratings. At times you've got to sort of see what they can do.
I mean, the three centre halves, between the three of them, have probably popped up with about 10 goals this season. But their primary job is just to defend, and that's what simplifies it for them. Everyone, the other players on the pitch are there to attack, and it's only really set pieces they come into.
Right, mate. So we're like mid-November now. Potentially, if we can hold on to this top of the league into the second round of the FA Cup with a home draw against a team in our league. Start of the season, we said third round of the FA Cup, potentially a big draw.
Yes.
Spend some money.
Yeah, I mean,
who are you wanting to win that?
Well, you want it in a away tie being the smaller team just to get the money, because realistically, when you play one of the big teams at home, you're going out. With the budget, we're all about trying to make money to be able to use further down the line. So when you get into League Two, it may boost our transfer budget. I have noticed that there's a takeover bid going on at the moment. So the fact that we're top of the league, I would hope that the new chairman, if he does come in, doesn't decide to change everything over.
Well, he seems very generous because he's willing to pump 87 grand into the club, which is like peanuts really. It's like a couple of weeks' wages for the squad.
Well, so, he's a local businessman apparently from Woking, and I don't think Woking's known for Russian oligarchs that are going to be able to pump millions into it. So I think our Roman Abramovich probably isn't this takeover.
No, which would have made the whole process a lot easier. Do we know if there's many sheikhs living in Woking these days?
Not that I've heard, I'll be honest. They tend to prefer to live in the UAE, I believe.
Yeah, just outside the cellar.
Yeah.
Okay, into stoppage time then. 2 minutes to hold on. So we've balanced attack, a little bit more down the middle, but we're quite balanced. So I've noticed a lot of our goals and assists come down the right hand side. Like our right back's got 7 assists this season. Here's good balling.
Another good thing with this system is it does cover a lot of the pitch. So if you split it into sort of 10 different sections, you'll tend to find that there's a player covering each third of the pitch, each sort of quarter of the pitch, and then it also means that basically their full-backs are pinned back. So when you come up against teams that tend to like put crosses in, it's almost what your full-back and your winger against their winger, because their full-back's too scared to get forward because they tend to get picked off. And it's helped with it helps with possession. If you can actually push them back and stop them attacking, it means that you tend to return when the ball's headed out from their back four. It tends to be picked up by your midfielders.
Good result that, mate.
Yeah.
Picked up a win. Guiseley won as well, 2-1.
Yeah.
Gateshead dropped points against Tranmere. Late goal, 87th minute. So it's a two-way tie up at the top now, although we're top on goal difference. 20 games played, 12 won, 5 drawn, 3 losses, goal difference of 20 for 41 points. So that 2 points a game. So one of the old Telford managers, Liam Watson, when we were in the Conference North days, always used to say that aim for 2 points a game, you won't be far off promotion. And I think that's kind of where we're at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty much averaging, I think it's near enough to 2 goals a game at one point as well. It might have dropped off a little bit, probably not far off though. Which again, if you're scoring goals, you're more likely to win games than not.
I always forget where the table is, the big expansive table. Yeah, so we're just over, so we're like averaging 2-1-ish a game. 2 and a bit, 1 and a bit a game. So that's not too bad.
Well, I always remember that Harry Wilkinson always said that he was a firm believer if you scored 1, the other team had to score 2 to win the game. And to be fair, it's not wrong.
It's proved correct, hasn't it, over the years. Right then, mate. So we're in a position now. So we're going to go and crack on and get a few more games played. If we get to the 3rd round of the cup and we get a big draw, we might stream that one as part of the next episode. If it's a smaller team, then what we'll probably do is we'll probably play 10 to 15 more games, get the sort of meat of the middle of the season out, get January out of the way. Although I'm not sure if we're in the transfer window in the conference, are we?
I think
we're okay, aren't we? League 2.
Yes, I think yeah.
It's just February or something, isn't it? It's like the end of the transfer.
Yeah, you come under it. I think the loan market stays open a bit longer as well than the free transfer market. Just to allow you to shift some players out in and out, to be honest, because as I said, the budgets are very sensitive in this league.
We've also got 6 months until Brexit kicks in the game, and I think that's quite a moving feast in the game. It can be a hard, a soft.
Yeah, it hasn't really said that much about it this time, but as I say, I will find it more. I mean, I'll be honest with myself personally, I tend to like scouting Eastern Europe, so Brexit possibly made my life a lot harder when it comes to football manager. Because I need to loan them out for about 4 years, and as I say, with this challenge, it's not really going to be feasible.
Yeah, because of the instant success we need. So, right, thanks very much for tuning in. We'll be back soon. Like and subscribe if you don't mind, if you're enjoying what we're doing. Leave us some comments. Let us know what you like, what you don't like. Obviously, we're not tech guys, so all that side of things is a work in progress. But any feedback you want to give us, just fire down below. This is Kev from Phil saying thanks very much. Take care, see you soon.